Welcome back to Mornings with Jaresha. Now, if you Google or search on YouTube, I'm pretty sure you'll find tons and tons of videos and articles about successful morning routines. But what really makes a successful morning routine? It's another great Wednesday, and today I want to talk about morning routines of highly successful people and how we each can create our own successful morning routine. Because that is why we're going to Google and going to YouTube and doing our research and searching for ideas, right? It's so we can implement them into our life. I really think it's a matter of habit. And if you look at the habits of highly successful people, you always it always comes back to their morning routine, which made me think about habits and what habits are you doing? What habits are we doing that is effective for your morning routine? And what habits do we need to let go of? Because we always have those bad habits that we need to let go of. So, interesting enough, over the years, I have been on this up and down roller coaster of my morning routine and what really works for me. And it's not one size fits all. So, what works for someone else may not work for you, even as far as when we're looking at highly successful people's morning routine. What works for them, even though they're highly successful, does not necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And so today's show, I'm not going to necessarily talk about specifics as far as this particular successful person or this particular successful person. I'm just talking about highly successful people as a whole. But I really think that, it's pretty safe to say that a lot of the highly successful morning habits are pretty consistent with a few morning rituals that they do every single morning. And so I think it's worth talking about it. And so one of the habits that highly successful people do is waking up early. There's that thing again, waking up early. Now, you probably know by now that I really have a very strong opinion about waking up early. But not just waking up early, there are some successful people that wake up without an alarm clock. And how do you feel about having an alarm clock, setting your alarm clock that's going to wake you up versus just naturally waking up? And so I know for a fact that Oprah is one of those who just naturally, she lets her internal clock wake her up naturally. So she's waking up without an alarm clock, which is amazing. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. I know also that Amazon's Jeff Bezos, he's another one that naturally just lets his internal clock wake him up. And I think it's great. I think it's great. I really do. I think it's great if you're able to do that. I also feel that it's a matter of habit. And if you're doing this for so long and knowing that, you have it already set in your mindset that I'm going to get up at this time to make sure you're going to get up. I think that when it comes down to having the alarm clock or, setting the alarm clock or not setting the alarm clock, to each his own, honestly. I'm going to tell you, as far as myself, I do set an alarm clock. Okay. So I feel like, if you do it long enough, as far as not, getting up, waking up early, maybe your body starts to get conditioned or programmed to be able to get up. But for me, I use it. I use the alarm clock. I love getting up early. So I agree with the whole letting your body just wake you up. Not everyone does. If it works for you, hey, to each his own. If it doesn't, then keep using your alarm clock, okay? Keep using the alarm clock. But how do you feel about the good old alarm clock and getting up early? To me, it's all about being consistent. And so that's one of the things that I do is I do set my alarm. And most of the time, yes, that internal clock wakes me up. And here lately, it's crazy because I've been waking up even earlier, and I just get up and I start my day no matter what time I get up. But I think for me, that alarm clock is really like that extra precaution that if I don't get up early, don't get up at the time that I'm really wanting to get up, that at least I know that I have that alarm clock that's going to go off, just to ensure that I'm getting up. But here's the big question: what are you doing once you get up? Are you starting your day by grabbing the phone to see what you missed on social media, like most of us do? Or do you take a moment and breathe and practice gratefulness and set your intentions for the day? What habits what habits do you feel like are going to help you really kickstart your day so you can achieve focus, clarity, and productivity? And honestly, I'm going to say that grabbing the cell phone first thing in the morning is not the best thing for us, because we know what happens once you grab the cell phone in your own social media. You turn around and 20 minutes has passed, 30 minutes. It pulls you in, and once you're in, it's hard to get out of it. So I'm going to say that's probably not the best habit to have first thing in the morning. But are you willing to commit yourself to establish some kind of morning routine or some kind of ritual so that you can see how you can achieve that greater focus, the clarity, and really being productive? Because that's what it all boils down to. We want to make sure that our days are going to be productive. Now, besides getting up early, there is another habit that successful people do, and that is clearing your mind or performing a brain dump. Now, for some, you may not be familiar with what a brain dump is, and I'm going to explain here just in a moment. But for several years ago, and for several years, I should say, I have been doing this brain dump. So I learned about it years ago, and the whole concept of brain dumping and what it means and how we need to get things out of our mind and down on paper. And I say on paper because you think about it, when you wake up in the morning and you have so many things that you need to do, there's all kinds of things that's on your to-do list. It's so easy for us to get just so overwhelmed with all of the things that we have to do. Isn't it easier to sit down, grab a piece of paper, grab a notebook, and start writing those things? Get it out of your mind. Get it out of your mind and on paper. And that is what a brain dump is. It is a way to clear your mind, get things out of your mind, your things that you need to do for that day. So it may be phone calls you need to make. It may be emails, someone you need to reach out to, someone you need to follow up with. You need to schedule an appointment. There's so many things that we have that is on our minds first thing in the morning, and it's so important for us to be able to just get all of that stuff out. But when it comes down to brain dumping and clearing your mind, you can actually look at this in two different ways. So one way is what I just mentioned, as far as writing things on paper, clearing your mind, being willing to sit down and start writing. I'm telling you, it works. Now, it may sound like it's just such a simple process, but it really, really works. And then the clearing your mind. So even with meditation, and so typically for me, I am sitting down in the morning. So after this is a part of my morning routine, I'm going to sit down at my desk and begin that brain dump, which means, again, I'm going to get everything out of my head from the items that I need to do that day, phone calls, emails, if I need to, reach out to somebody about something in particular, if I need to follow up, things I need to do for my family, the things I need to get at the store, journaling as well. So there's so many different ways you can look at this. I use prompts as well. So I use a guide and a prompts that help me and guide me with this process of providing different items that I need to, that kind of triggers that thought, like, oh, let me not forget about this. I need to put this down on paper as well. And so that helps me. It may very well help you as well. But ultimately, it's about brain dumping so that you can clear your mind, because how often do we go into like meditation or having that moment of we're trying to stay focused and present in whatever we have going on in the morning, and you have 50 million things going through your mind of the things that you need to do. So again, it's not a one size fits all. I use a guide and prompts that help me, and it's just, I mean, it's really that simple. Where it's a list of items that help me think so that I can brain dump, and then after I brain dump, I am able to then have my meditation where I'm not going to be thinking about all the things I need to do, where I can really clear my mind and or brain dump and clear my mind. And that's so important. And so, yes, there are moments throughout the day where, things come back into your mind like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. That's where the post-it note, that's where those items go. I capture those on post-it notes as reminders. But brain dumps are really, really great, and they help you stay focused and clear your mind. And like I said, it is nothing like sitting down and having your meditation or whatever it is that you do in the morning after you have done a brain dump and your mind is clear. You don't have to worry about, you know, having all these other thoughts about things that you need to do and your mind being all over the place because you did not write it down. It's a very effective habit that you should try and see if it works for you. I'm quite sure it will. Now, that's one of those things I feel like is very universal that will work for all of us if we actually start doing it. So, some of the other habits of highly successful people are exercising, of course, getting your body moving, drinking your water, and eating a healthy breakfast. And we all know this. We've talked about these on the show before. So, I just wanted to really mention them briefly, but not to really dive into them because we all know that when you know better, you do better. And we know we need to drink more water, we need to exercise, we need to eat healthier. And if you're doing those things, kudos to you and a big high five. Okay. But if you're not, ask yourself why. Why is it important to make this a habit in your life? And that's another great point. That's another great thing that it just made me think of is the habit of asking questions and self-reflection. So that's another habit of highly successful people is self-reflection. Self-reflection in the morning can really set you up for success for the entire day. I mean, just think about it. We go through life on autopilot. Autopilot. I mean, so many of us are just getting up, going through our day, and it's the same thing every day, day in, day out. And we lose sight of our goals, our dreams, and our purpose. But by introducing the self reflection habit into our lives, we can change that autopilot life that we have been in for so long. So we can start today by asking yourself this question. If today were the last day of your life, what would you want to do what you're about to do? And I'm going to repeat that again. If today was the last day of your life, would you want to do what you're about to do today? Now, if you answer yes to that question, that is absolutely amazing. And again, kudos and big high five to you because I think that you get it and you are walking in your purpose. But if you answered no to that question, if today were the last day of my life, what? I keep saying what would I want to do what I am about to do today? If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? If you answered no to that question, then you know that you have some work to do. What can you do to change your response to a yes? The question, okay, this question is to me is absolutely a game changer for us. It's a game changer for our life. And honestly, there are several questions that we can be asking as self-reflective questions that I will actually share on another show when I talk about questions you should be asking yourself daily. But I want us to really grasp that. I don't want us to just casually skip over the nugget and your aha moment or your opportunity to really think about the question and what it means for your life. And so that's why I keep repeating it, because I think it's worth repeating. If today was the last day of your life, what would you want to do what you're about to do today? Would you want to do what you're about to do today? And so for many of us, I know the answer is probably no. And it's up to you to understand why and do something about it. That question is very powerful. To not just say, okay, I'm going to ask this question today, and then tomorrow you're going to forget about the question. No, this is one of those questions that you need to be asking yourself today, and making sure that you're not having no's every single day. There is no doubt that a consistent morning habit will set the tone for a productive day. But know that you set the tone for your life every day, meaning that what you're going to do every day will either help you or hurt you. So we have to stop living our life on autopilot and establish a schedule or successful habits so you can achieve higher levels of success. This morning habits and routine stuff is really not rocket science, but we make it so much harder than what it has to be because of our unwillingness to do the work. And then the question comes in, because, you know, ask yourself, do you really want the success that you talk about it? That you talk about. We talk about stuff all the time. We talk about it. We talk about, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. But do you really want the success that you're talking about? Do you really want it? And if so, how bad do you want it? If you're not committed to making changes in your life, you don't want it at all. But if you're listening and know that there are things in your life right now that you are claiming, declaring, affirming, and really trying to manifest, it starts with you and the habits that you're going to implement in your life. It's time to get serious. It's time to get serious about your morning habits. It's time to get serious about brain dumping, about getting up early. It's time to get serious about self reflection, about asking yourself those important questions that's going to help you achieve the success that you want and desire. It is time to get serious. It's time to get serious. If today was the last day of your life, would you want to do what you're about to do today? Now, that is as serious as it gets. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready to get serious about it, because we don't have time to waste. I hope you're ready. It's time to execute on your goals, dreams, and purpose. Let's get it. Let's go.